Welcome back to Living Local. Fall arrived this week along with cooler temperatures, and today we're finding out if the housing market will also cool down and what role market conditions will play in buying and selling. And we're checking in with Kyle Robinson in this segment sponsored by the Robinson Group. Kyle, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so let's get a check on interest rates. What are they looking like today?
A little bit of a sore subject right now. 30-year fixed nation average is around 6.6. 15-year notes around 6%. Certainly that's nation averages, so always check with your local lender to see what their rates are.
For sure. Okay, so what are your thoughts on holding off on purchasing a home due to the interest rates?
This is something we've been talking about for quite some time. I think that the most important thing people need to understand is it's your forever home, not your forever rate. There's been many refinance opportunities in the last several years, so I would not be too concerned about being locked into a rate long term. It's one of those things that you can certainly have a conversation with your lender about as well if that's a concern of yours. The thing that we're seeing though is the difference between a 3% interest rate and a 6.6% interest rate is the purchasing power. It's gone down quite a bit over the last several months, just because reality is interest rates reduces the amount that you can borrow.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest concern that we're seeing right now.
Okay, so is the market still hot, or are we looking at a slowdown?
So I can tell you right now, I look in terms of what our team's doing, and we are slowing down a little bit. Nothing drastic. Houses are still selling.
Yeah.
There's still competing offer situations. I just think there's more inventory now than there was over the last 2 years.
Okay.
But naturally, I think that with inflation and interest rates, there are some fears out there in the market, but I still encourage people, and we see people buying houses every single day.
And it is a little bit of a slower time, isn't it, fall?
Typically, we see a ramp up right after the beginning of school starts. So we have a little bit of a ramp up until about that Thanksgiving time. Sometimes it can slow down a little bit towards Halloween, but we like to make it to Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so.
Right. After, we're so busy getting kids ready and getting back to school and all that. But yeah, I mean,
people want to get in the houses where they get the new houses before Christmas, and there's a lot of people that are coming in at the end of the year. So it's definitely not always spring. I can tell you right now, the best time to buy a house is whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of myths out there, but this time right now is usually pretty busy.
Okay. What advice would you give to homeowners who are maybe looking to sell their home and buy a new home? Should they list their house first and then find their dream home at another time?
Yeah, I think the first step is always contact your favorite realtor, right? And then at that point, because really building a roadmap, because I will tell you, depending on the home and maybe where it's at, and depending on what the expectations of that person is and what they think their house is worth, that could be a different story. I will tell you that I think there's a myth out there that people think that they always want to go search for a house without putting their house up because they don't want to be homeless.
Yeah.
Well, you do have the ability to upfront tell people if they were to make an offer on your house, it's subject to not only finding, but also closing on a home of your choosing, right? So you have a little bit of wiggle room there. Realistically, I would say if you're going to go that route, people usually give 30 to 60 days. If it's something that's real desirable, maybe they might extend it a little bit.
Okay, and I was going to ask you, how long does it usually take to close on a home, maybe in this current market then? Would you still say 30?
Yeah, I would say 30 days or less with most places, but I can tell you right now that with some places, our mortgage company can close them quickly as 10 days on a conventional loan.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, so it can happen at the pace of whatever the borrower wants to do.
Okay.
But with cash deals, I mean, I would say roughly 10 days in Iowa and about 14 days in Iowa and about 10 days in Illinois.
Okay, so 30 is kind of the average, but you can go a lot sooner than that then. Okay. What are some things that are delaying or maybe preventing closings in this current market?
Well, one thing that we've had a problem with a lot is contractors, right? So that we've had to do some repairs, and certainly sometimes that can hold up closings, especially if it's noticed by the appraiser or if it's something that's put on the purchase agreement. They're going to want those repairs done prior to. Interest rates certainly are causing problems as well. People that aren't necessarily checking with their lenders when they're writing offers. So if you were approved 9 months ago, you certainly need to check with your lender today, because what you're approved for might be different. So we're having some lending issues, but not too much. For the most part, everything's smooth sailing. So,
Okay. And fewer offers doesn't necessarily mean less money either. In the past, multiple offers were driving prices up, but buyers were still willing to pay, top dollar for homes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you get one offer on your house or 10 offers on your house. It's still a healthy housing market right now.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people have a ton of success. I will say that houses are appreciating. The people that are sitting on the fence right now because of interest rates, my rebuttal to them would be, I don't think the houses here in the Midwest or here where we live at are going down.
Yeah.
Right? The people that overpaid for their houses, that might be a different story.
Yeah.
But the people that most people are in good positions. There's more equity in homes than there's ever been before. And I can tell you that if you're waiting because of the interest rates, you can always refinance.
Yeah.
Houses, I don't think, are going to get cheaper, right? So
No.
you should get with your lender and ask them there's a cost of waiting calculator that they can do and show you if you're to wait 2 years and if the interest rates drop 1%, what that would look like if the housing market appreciated, let's say, 6%. And it's pretty scary. I can
Yeah.
tell you right now that the cost of waiting typically is not in the benefit of the buyer.
Yeah. So if you find that house, grab it.
I would have a conversation and make sure it's the best time for you.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, some good advice, as always, Kyle.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by. All right. Again, this segment was sponsored by the Robinson Group. And for more information, you can check out trgmove.com. And we'll also have all those details posted on our quadcities.com.